Hey, welcome everybody. I'm doing a second round on this episode because I found myself doing a lot of uhs towards the second half, and it was annoying for me. And if it's annoying for me, it's got to be annoying for you, the gentle listener. So, Scorpion, first appearance, issue 20. Another one of Steve Ditko's brilliant characters. Another animal-based one, like the lizard and the vulture and such. Also wore green, thanks to George Roussos, who his belief was villains should always be purple and green, and superheroes should be in main colors, primary colors. So illustrated by Steve Ditko, written by Stan Lee. So you see Steve's name above, and this is when Steve's starting to press on Lee about getting more credit. Many readers have asked why Stan's name is always first in the credits, and so big-hearted Lee agreed to put Stevie's name first. How about that? Interesting. So, JJJ grumbles as he does 24/7, and some guy can do mutations in animals. And he talks about anti-Spider-Man serum would be great if only someone were stronger. Wait, that's the answer. Could it be? He lives in the city. Perfect. So he gets this guy Matt Gargan, and says his job's gonna be dangerous. He's like, who cares? You know me, boss. As long as my pay is good. What's the pitch? So they end up at Professor Smitey's. I gotta cradle his big ass. Oh, actually, it's Farley Stillwell. I'm sorry. Smitey would be a later Spider Slayer creator. You mean you actually mutated a rat that it could swim like a fish and enable fish to breathe air like a rat? Well, not mutated, but my work is very important. Sure, naturally, but it's not scientist. I'm interested. Not science. I'm interested right now. I want you to work on a special project for me. It pays $10,000. Now, bear in mind, this is 1963 or 64, so with inflation, that would be considerable more. But I'm a research scientist. I don't accept private jobs for pay, and yet with $10,000, I can buy new equipment and materials. I'm just not in a position to refuse you. All right, what's the project? I want you to create a character better than Spider-Man. So they get Matt Gargan the drink and the Zap, much like Captain America's origin. And they give him this costume to don. Kudos to sturdy Steve Ditko for, not just putting the tail there, but he adds it to the back for to make it practical, to make it work. It's not just a tail. He's like, you're a genius. He's swinging the tail around. And that costume stayed the same until about 1988 when Tom McFarlane did a slight upgrade, which gave him a pretty cool mask, and he actually put a point on the end of the tail that I think could shoot lasers or something like that. It was pretty cool. So, attack of the Scorpion. And he's giving Spidey a lot of trouble. Spidey tries to web him up, but he's got pincers that could break free of the web. Years later, there's no reference to him having pincers, but who cares? He basically knocks the crap out of Spider-Man. If I beat him, then the whole city is mine for the taking. And he comes back. Gargan, thank God. Perhaps there's still time. What do you mean? For you to take the serum, unless you drink it quickly, you'll never change back. He goes, well, I got news for you. I don't want to change back. Swats him dismissively. It's like, swoop. Okay. Yep. Guy decides to throw serum at the guy, at Scorpion, climbing up the sheer wall. It's so funny. And he's like, oh no, Stillwell's dead. And the Scorpion has robbed the jewelry store. He goes, nobody knows, but it's all my fault. I'm the one. There would be no Scorpion. And he goes, just to justify my own personal hatred, I try to destroy Spider-Man. I unleashed a worse menace. So I love this stuff. And they end up having a great old brawl at the Bugle, which was done once before with the Vulture, I think, which was really great. I think that was issue 7 or something like that. Oh. Finally, he takes on the Scorpion. And I can't figure out where the mechanics of the Scorpion and the power of his strength enhanced meet. So that's something I'm trying to figure out. But JJJ's just really bummed out. He goes, if it takes the rest of my life, I'm going to destroy Spider-Man. So, okay, 5 issues later, captured by Jonah Jameson, issue 25, and he's got a little robot, and it's got his face on it. So that's not incriminating at all, which wouldn't be a big deal, except later on we will see why that's a problem. So he's hanging out with, who is that guy? That's not the scientist yet. The scientist shows up. This kind of reminds me of the Living Brain that came out in issue 7, it might have been. My name is Smythe. This is Smythe now. I'm an inventor. I've read your anti-Spider-Man editorials for months, so I know why you hate him. Now I'm here. I guaranteed something that'll defeat Spider-Man. Just what I need, another crackpot. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. And he goes, it'll only take me a moment to show you what the robot can do. And Pete encourages him just to taunt him, and Betty's kind of pissed off at him for doing that. So here comes this cute little robot, and supposedly it can sense a spider. He goes, I just need someone to hold this spider in a glass cage, and Parker's kind of sweating, and it wraps him up, and it must have been attracted to the spider that Parker was holding. So he got off on that. There it is. The first of many spider slayers. Hey, I can see out of here. Everybody can see my face. Excuse me a second. I'm going to get this can of water out of the way, because I don't want to cry like a baby if this thing gets wet. So, test it out. Try it. The voice. What are you staring at? Get back to work, all of you. Now, if my boss came in with that, I would get back to work, or I would run as far as my feet could take me. And now he's going down the street, and he's like, kids up ahead of me, you're blocking my view. What in creation is that? What's that thing, advertising? Is he giving away free samples? Out of my way, you brats, move. And he's like, doot, 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 doot. Spidey manages to swing up on a building, but this machine is also a wall crawler. He's like, I'm going to get you. La, 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 la. And I'm going to do it out of focus, too. And Oshevitz. Come on. Real close. There we go. I could wait all day for you, camera. You smarmy ass camera, you. I just love that face, though. That just kills me. Clip your wings forever. So he tries to... Spidey tries to put the gooey web on him. Slides right off. I just love the design. He takes off. You're not going to get away from me. Betty Brant pretends to trip over the wire, the cord that's attached to the outlet, and I think it would probably burn the place down if you have that kind of robot using just one outlet. So I'm coming for you. First appearance of Mary Jane Watson, but she shows up a lot of times with her face covered, and she doesn't show up until John Romita's first or second issue, I think it is. And here comes the Spider Slayer. Gets all wrapped up. Got you trapped. So Spidey uses his suction cup-like fingers to open this seal and get to the parts of the robot that could stop it completely. And what's funny is Jonah Jameson and Smythe are climbing outside on a ladder on the top of a building. That doesn't look suspicious at all. And there's Spider-Man stuck, but it's empty. And Pete's been playing Puppeteer at the expense of those guys. These things are so heavy. Gosh. I should have just waited till the Epic collections came out, but they hadn't come out for like 15, 20 years after this. So we got some great Epic collections. I even wanted to buy the very first 2 Epic collections because it'd just be easy to lug around. They go for a lot of money. I mean, it's amazing how valuable these things become. So, look who's back. Issue 58. The kill a Spider-Man. It's wrapping up the Kazar story from the previous issue, and what's interesting is Johnny Romita. At the time, John Romita was so stretched thin with a lot of jobs, like either he's penciling or he's assisting or he's inking or he's making corrections to keep with the Marvel House style, breakdowns by John Romita, finishes by Don Heck, inks by Mickey DeMeo, and later on it will be John Romita, John Buscema, and then Jim Mooney, and that's actually a very sweet combo. So this is a little wonky. I love Don Heck, it's just a very odd arrangement. So Professor Smitey's on the phone. He's a nitwit who built that robot to defeat Spider-Man. If he failed, like everybody else, go tell it to City Hall, you bum. Now calm down, JJJ. I'm just as disappointed as you are about the previous failure. We now have a chance to completely crush the web spinner, and this time I can't fail. There's Aunt May. You know, it's like her 300th appearance in a hospital. Here we go. There's the robot. Does he look just like on the cover? Yeah, okay. Well, you know what? I would say this is a Don Heck design. It really has a Don Heckitude to it. And I love it. It's the Spider Slayer. This one, being many times the superior, cannot fail. So, again, he gets his face in there. I love that. The cigar always. He goes, it's perfect. I can see everything through the robot's face screen. And he tests it out. Starts smushing a few things. It's like do. He climbs walls just like our wall crawler. I'm gonna get you. And he's got a destructo beam this time. And Smythe, take it easy. Blast it. I've got the wall crawlers trapped. There's no need to hit him with a deadly ray. No? Do you think he'll get a chance to escape me, to beat me again? Stay back. I'll do the controls. So, dum-de-dum-dum-dum. Do-do-do-do. So Spider-Man tries to get into a phone booth. Now, for those of you who are like under the age of 40, a phone booth was something that was every couple blocks, and you put change in it, make a call. It wasn't that expensive unless you're doing a long distance. It was like a dime for many years. And they had these big-ass phone books attached, like so you could thumb through them. And pretty much everybody's name was in the phone book, and only later you would pay a little extra to be unlisted. So he's like, I gotta find Smythe. And he goes, there's 36 Smythes listed. What am I gonna pick? And that is greatness right there. That is greatness, getting that phone booth demolished. So exciting stuff. Now Smythe is in control. It's like, yippee, I'm going to get you. Things aren't responding right. What's happening? And he decides to do maximum power, and it goes kablooey. If you've been satisfied just to capture him like I wanted, we have won. Get out, you bum. I've got a good mind to turn you over to the police. It's like, wait a minute. He's like, this guy I bankrolled. Well, he tried to kill Spider-Man. Fancy that. No. Oh, it's a beautiful car. It's so ugly here that it's beautiful. I can't quite describe it. It's real awkward, but I like it. Maybe because I'm looking through the lens of nostalgia. So, Spider-Man Annual. The first Spider-Man original annual in about, like 7 years. For a while they had king-size annuals, and they went to reprint. As soon as Jack Kirby left for DC, they decided to go all reprint because Jack was so prolific that there was this gaping hole that they had to fill. And they had king-size books that were all reprint, and then in early 74, mid-74, they came out with, end of 73, they came out with giant-size, like giant-size Spider-Man, FF, Thor, and they always had like a 30-page beginning that was all new, and then the back they have a 20-page reprint of a story. I mean, it could be like, for example, there was a giant size number 2 of the Avengers and deals with Kang, who also happened to be Ramatut, and there's a Ramatut backup story from Fantastic Four. So, but when I saw this, a lot of these later on said all new because people were so tired of the reprints, I guess. Sorry about that. I was afraid my one of my little doggies was out of water, but nope, there's water. So Len Wein, Gil Kane, with Gil Kane doing interiors, which was kind of rare because he was doing so many covers. Bill Mantlo does the script, and he's a great scripter. He's very much off the, he doesn't say erstwhile, and he doesn't say, to coin a cliche, which has become a huge cliche. Inkers Frank Giacoia and Mike Esposito. These two shared a studio for a long time, and Giacoia, he was not the fastest, but Stan, everybody loved his ink so much, the bold inks, that they kept giving him work, and he and Esposito would do different parts of the page. And however it worked, I don't know. I mean, I've done it before. I had an assistant in the past, and I've had other people, like when I was a cross-gen, we would pitch in and help everybody make deadlines and such. So we start off with like these street thugs that are kidnapping this woman, and because they botched a robbery, and here comes Spider-Man and says, take him out. I love that. Look, what a wallop. A classic Gil Kane, twist back. I like that he slips on the stairs, stops himself, and this guy, Rick Deacon is his name. He tries to ventilate him, as they used to say. Nice pose, like getting up off the ground after tackling that guy. So he's out there. He's like, I want to train to, or no, I want to plane to like Damascus or something. I want to get out of here. And I just threw that out there. But he gets shot by the police because he's shooting at the woman and Spider-Man. So JJJ, he just never learns. I came up with the idea in the first place to do this Spider Slayer. I knew, and you knew no doubt, Mr. Jason, that my late brother Farley, Chris, Dr. Harlan Stillwell, would be in need of funds for research, desperate enough to do anything. Don't be melodramatic. I'm not here to ask you to do anything illegal. I think that train has left the station, pal. No, you came to my brother with a similar request, Scorpion, blah, blah, blah. That was an accident. I want somebody as a force of good. You know my price, Stillwell. Yes, I know your price. I have no choice but to agree. Good. Then, I want somebody with this, ability to cling walls and speed. Blah, blah, blah. So here comes this Stillwell guy, and he's been studying flies, segmented legs that allow them to cling to any surface, compound eyes, which many facets enable them to see in all directions, and his strength, he can lift 50 times his own weight, or some such. Here comes Rick Deacon, unexpected. I don't aim to die, at least ways till I get back to pay back Spider-Man. So, what's going on? I love that design, baby. I think Ramita might have designed it. He was designing a lot of stuff at the time. This is a weird page for me, because it's really awkward. Gil Kane does a lot of great covers, a lot of great splashes, but if it wasn't for like the rendering on the legs, I wouldn't have known this is a Gil Kane splash, because it's very unimpressive, and the hand comes off the page there. That's very odd. So, but that's a minor thing. Everything else, way cool. So, well, Plastic Stillwell, I told you never to call me at the office. I'm sorry, James. Something's come up. Something we hadn't counted on. Better hurry over. Takes off. Shows up. Everything's demolished. Stillwell, you still here? It's me, Jameson. Nothing. Except that infernal buzzing from those bottled flies. Bottled flies? That's odd. Oh, my lord. That's a pose Kane used on a lot of covers where like the hero would be defeated on the ground. He's been shot, but who? No, that's not important. What is important is that nobody must know that I had anything to do with him. After all, I'm J. Jonah Jameson. A scandal like this could ruin me. Think humanitarian, Jonah. If you go, then a bugle goes with you. Think of all those hungry workers. Poor Parker trying to support a sick aunt. Thank God some of us are able to see the true course of action so clearly. It's justification for everything. It's nuts. And here comes a fly. A buzz, buzz, buzz. And that costume is so great. So he goes to, I don't know why. Oh yeah, that's right. He grabs Jonah Jameson. He goes to Daily Bugle because everybody knows that's where Spider-Man hangs out once in a while, and he gives zap to, what is it? Beating his wings, which causes an ultrasonic blast, and Robbie gets knocked out. He's not dead though. I want to meet Spider-Man. Dan Adkins on the inks by no. Dan Adkins did not make this. I said already. I love that. That's one of those classic Gil Kane, like he does those Dutch angles that you would see on the Batman show back in the 60s. Basically, he has a sideway angle. Lovely fights. I love these fights. And what I like, what's good about this is Spider-Man's on this side of the page, this side of the panel, this side of the panel too, because there's a 180-degree rule. Like if someone, I've seen people draw where, say, the Fly would come out and hit Spider-Man over there, and it totally messes the reading experience up. It's like, you have to keep going in that direction for those 3 panels. Now there's just some out-and-out fighting, which is what I bought comics for. And I still do sometimes. The Fly is getting the tar knocked out of him, but he's still feisty. And bump, 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 bump. There we go. He flies away. Not too far. He lands. And Peter Parker took a picture, but he's like, and I want to thank you, Mr. Hotshot Photographer Parker, for taking this picture before bothering to free me from that mass menace's web. Priorities, after all. And he goes, after all, I can't go embarrassing myself in front page of my new newspaper, can I? Besides, the public is tired of supervillains. We want muggers, car strippers, that sort of thing. And, but in that case, you'll love the shots of the violent person acting I've been saving. Guess I can expect a bonus, JJJ, for all 30 of them. Good night, and see you tomorrow, 9 a.m. sharp. An ad for the second Spider-Man series, Peter Parker, The Spectacular Spider-Man, created by Gary Conway and Sal Buscema. I mean, they didn't create the character, it's a new title. But that was the second comic book that had Spider-Man. Only the second. There weren't 5 Spider-Man titles. Hold on a second. At the time, they had the Electric Company with Spidey Super Stories, and they had Marvel Team Up. But as far as a sole Spider-Man feature, you didn't have Web of Spider-Man yet, that sort of stuff. And Mother-in-Law of Spider-Man. There is Spider Slayer yet again. Our pal J. Jonah Jameson just doesn't want to learn. So take that, Mass Web Slayer, and that, and that. So he's just playing. It's almost like a video game he's playing. So who's behind this one? It's some woman named Marla. And what's really weird is later on, her and J. Jonah Jameson start dating and they actually get married. And there's no reason at all given for her motives. I mean, you could say scientific interest or maybe he paid a lot of money, but that's not even mentioned here. This is sometime after the last Spider Slayer. So, I've looked and looked and looked, and nope. Don't let it bother you, Jonah. I'll have the university send a bill for the damages. So, you got a lot of money changing hands here. I just don't get it. Here it comes. New approved JJJ. Do you never learn, Jonah? The Gizmo hasn't really another one of your cockamamie Spider Slayers, is it? And he gets the old flash in the eyes, but he dodges. I love that. And I love the treads are huge. I love that because not only does it give him mobility, but it balances him out because he's top heavy. So that was a great idea. Ross Andrew probably designed that. Ross Andrew did this kind of stuff too, which is really interesting. And it works. I don't know how it works, but I guess it's where he places the Will o' the Wisp, lame-ass character, but here comes JJJ. Took me a while to find you, all crawler, but this time the Spider Slayer's going to finish you. I will finish you. So, he's caught between his lame-ass Will o' the Wisp. And this is a magnificent panel here. Spidey spinning on his heel. That's great. They're at the ice skating rink at 30 Rock. There's that big old statue. And bear in mind, Ross Andrew took a lot of photos, his own photos, for reference. He would get on top of buildings. It was just amazing. And he still did a monthly book. So, man, that Spider Slayer is just so darn wacky. Keeps coming. Spidey dodges it. Goes, I'll get you for this, I swear, Clong. So it gets knocked out by the statue of Prometheus. And he's like, I was so blasted close, I could almost taste victory. Now, do you have any idea that's going to cost me to have that skating rink repaired? Now, here's the thing. If he has to repair the skating rink, and he's JJJ, that's a dead giveaway. Slap him in prison, and we'll reconstruct the Spider Slayer, make him more powerful than ever. Next time, we'll be ready for him. I should have stayed in bed. And I don't think the Spider Slayer showed up again. Pretty sure it didn't. Now, jumping ahead a couple of years, where Marv Wolfman continues with Ross Andrew. He takes over the passing of the torch from Len Wein to Marv Wolfman. And the first half of this, most of this is still Ross Andrew, and then Keith Pollard took over. What's interesting, Keith Pollard's so underrated. He did a long run on Spider-Man. He did a long run on Fantastic Four. He did a long run on Thor, and all of them were great. Classic Marvel arts, really good stuff. And, of course, we start off with JJJ blowing a stack again. You know, it's... After 20 years, it's gotten really tiresome. Oops. Wait a second. Here comes that gal Marla. Do you have a moment? Just follow me, Marla. We'll talk on the run. So, basically, he's getting this, you know, basically, Joe Robertson is just talking about how what a dick JJ is, and not very good at his responsibilities. So, JJJ decides to go to another Smythe. This is the address, Marla. He'll help it. He'll help us. I'm sure of it. But Jonah, no buts, Marla. Why am I just sick? That's right, Smythe. Once you promised me never to help me again, but I need you. Money is no object. I want the best Spider Slayer you can build. Excuse me, Jameson. Because I wanted Jameson in my clutches. He comes walking right into my lair, and a chance to pay him back for everything he's done to me. And it turned out that he is sick. Well, what's your answer, Smythe? Are you with me? And she's just along for the ride. I mean, that's some date. So here it is, a new Spider Slayer. A little more compact. Doesn't have JJJ's face on it. This is the finest Spider Slayer I made from unshatterable metals in response instantly to my mental commands. It's the strength of my previous devices and none of its weaknesses. Oh, sidebar. Issue 107 had Smythe fight Spider-Man with a Spider Slayer, and also in issue 150, where it was mostly a dream sequence where Spider-Man was hallucinating, Smythe came with another Spider Slayer. But since Jonah wasn't involved those two times, I'm not going to cover it in this episode. So, Smythe's like, here, try these on first. What, they look like handcuffs to me. Don't argue, Jameson. Just do as I say. Talk to me like that. Well, when we're done, you'll suffer too, Smythe. Believe me. And it turns out, ha! Jameson, you stupid, insufferable fool. I've just killed you. You got 24 hours. What's the meaning of this? And it turns out that he's sick. He's like, I'm dying. Because of the radioactive materials I used to build your insufferable slayers, I'm dying. So he's not quite owning it, though. It's like, you know, you didn't have to do it either. So here comes the Spider Slayer. And he flips over and knocks it down, even though it's been back here. It was called. Hang in there. Unshatterable metal. Well, it shadows. And then it continues as a great story where they're like 24 hours to undo, to get free of this explosive handcuff. Nice Pollard and Bob McLeod. I love Bob McLeod stuff. So, years later, when here we go, everybody. Another omnibus Spider-Man by Roger Stern. Great stuff. It has the Peter Parker Spectacular Spider-Man issues he did, and then he graduated to the main title. Really good stuff. Really recommend this. And it's probably a reasonable price, I think. And then we have John Romita Jr. jumping on board, man. And he is his father's son. Doing amazing stuff. The Hobgoblin shows up. And that was a great mystery where they kept that. Well, it started off that way, and then Jim Owsley, a.k.a. Christopher Priest, admitted that he kind of screwed up the plots, just to be a wise guy, because he was a young editor, and he's like, there shouldn't be any 22-year-old editors, because you kind of get full of yourself. So, at least he, did his, at least he came out and said that. Issue 250. And this is not a Spider Slayer thing. Jonah's typing. I created the Scorpion, an editorial confession. So that's the dirt Hobgoblin hound you. Yeah, me. I knew you were mixed up with that Scorpion maniac somehow, but I never knew you actually footed the bills making him the way he was. Klaus Janson inks, by the way, which is lovely. It reminds me very much of when he inked Frank Miller. Yes, I did. I'm not very proud to admit, but by Gadfrey, I will not submit to blackmail. Jonah Jameson admits his mistakes. Yeah, when you're being blackmailed. Baloney. If that's the case, you would have owned up to it years ago, you old hypocrite. How dare you call me that, you masked menace? You've been too reluctant to call people's names, pal, but years you've editorialized against me. Whoop. Saying I was a vigilante operating outside the law. Well, isn't that what you've been doing? You and your Scorpions and hired heroes and Spider Slayer robots. You're as much an outlaw as I am. And now that you've been caught by someone who's proof, do you think you can put on a hair shirt and throw yourself at the public's mercy? The public may judge as they wish. Hey, they can't make a public confession to something like this and still play editor-in-chief. Your career as a newspaper man is over. You're crazy to think otherwise. So he crumbles. He tries to get Jonah Jameson out of it. Yeah, maybe I'm a little crazy too. Forget about the martyr bit, Jameson. I'll find the Hobgoblin creep. I don't know how, but I will. And I even save your job. If that doesn't prove I'm crazy, nothing will. But then, when this is all over, maybe two of us outlaws could come to terms. Great line. Now this is a very, JR is doing a very Frank Miller type panel, and you have Janson in it, who did finishes on Daredevil for like the last year. He did the heavy lifting on Daredevil. So, a second. Hang in there, everybody. So he goes clackety, clackety, clack. Well, son of a bitch. Hey, bear it with me, okay? Okay. I'm still looking. I am. I found what I was looking for. Next day, Mr. Jameson, sir, you sent for a copy boy? Oh, yes, tell Joe Robinson there's something, some sort of fire in the warehouse district. Have him send a reporter over right away. Is that all? He goes, no. Take this down to composing. Have them put it on page 1. And whip, whip, whap, whap, whap. That's always like when you have a bunch of papers together and you want to straighten them out. You go whap, whap, whap. Hey, flat top, you get off my ceiling. Your theatrics don't impress me. Can the bravado, JJJ. You must know why I'm here. I'm sure you've heard about the last night's fracas by now. Yes, I just stopped by to tell you that the Hobgoblin isn't going to blackmail you anymore. He's gone for good. The incriminating evidence he had against you was lost when the warehouse went up in flames, so your secret is safe. No one will ever learn that you had anything to do with the Scorpion. No one will ever learn. Ha ha! What? You web-headed fool. I already made my full confession in the morning edition of the Bugle. Whoa, I don't believe it. Let me take this cover off before I break it and cry and rip it. There we go. Woo! Close call. But Jonah, why? The public has a right to know the facts. A few years ago, I funded a project which was supposed to transform an ordinary man to a crusader of justice. Instead, he became the Superman of the Scorpions. I love this newspaper. I won't see its journalistic integrity questioned because of my mistake, so I'm stepping down as editor-in-chief. And don't you think the Bugle is going to start treating you with kid gloves? I'm still the publisher around here. As far as I'm concerned, you're just a massive vigilante. A vigilante who takes the law in his own hands. I had to make my public apologies. I won't stop hounding you until you make yours. Maybe not even then. And I didn't realize you had company. Meet my new editor-in-chief, Joe Robertson. I've finished cleaning out my desk, Joe. This office now belongs to you, as does my newspaper. Take care of her, Jonah. Joe, make me proud. Congratulations. So that's the last we hear of that, but he says he's still the publisher. But then he says, you know, everything belongs to you, and so does the newspaper, so I don't know. I don't know how it came that way. However, again, it's why wasn't Jonah Jameson sent to jail, to prison for like at least 20 years? And he's got his, you know, he says he's going to pay for Rockefeller Center. And of course, he would use that as a opportunity to say, "Oh, can't you see? I'm just doing this out of the goodness of my heart, you know. And it's a shame to see Rockefeller Plaza like that." So his face was on at least 3 Spider Slayers, and he's been out and about with that. And he's never gone to jail. He's never taken responsibility for his actions. Just because he wrote an editorial talking about the Scorpion, that's just like the very top of the, you know, it barely scratches the surface. So what do you think? Should JJJ have gone to jail or not? I tend to think so, but even though it's comics and stuff like that, multiple cases would be thrown at him, especially because he also pays for those scientists, you know, and even though a lot of them die, you know, they would probably freeze his assets, check all the bank statements, and that Marla woman was so bizarre. They gave her no motivation to create that one Spider Slayer with the big old treads, and later on, you know, she becomes a member of the cast, and it's so weird. And she never showed her face to the other people at the Bugle or anybody. But and the only thing you can assume, and you have to assume, is that she needed research money, and she was just she was a little bloodthirsty to our pal Peter anyway. So pretty wacky. So I think I've wrapped this up, and it's much better than the previous episode attempt. And I want your thoughts below. Let me know what you think. If there's any other stories you know that might be you know, litigious towards Jameson that hadn't been covered, Spider Slayer or no. Let me know your first encounter with the Spider Slayer. And that's about it. I hope you enjoyed this, and I appreciate the patience it took. And I'm going on 40 minutes here, and there's a lot of information, there's a lot of entertainment on the internet, on YouTube, and the fact that you took time to watch my show, it really makes me happy. I hope I do okay, and I love getting comments down below, and please hit like and subscribe if you haven't, and if you know somebody who's a fan of old school comics, share with them. And that's about it. I wish all of you the best, and have a great day.